Hello, guys, and welcome to the Limitless Landscapers podcast. I'm Paula, your host, and today I'm talking about some reflections of some downtime I've taken recently and how these may help you in your business. So, if you're down with that, let's go to the show.
As the co-founders of the Landscaper Circle, we help you get more money, time and freedom to become limitless through our experiences as fellow landscapers and our tried and tested methods. If you want help with your marketing, managing or growing your business, you've definitely come to the right place. If you're a landscaper, garden designer or supplier to the industry, then hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get back to the show.
Hello, guys, and welcome to this brand new episode of the Limitless Landscapers podcast. How are you? I feel like I haven't been here for weeks. I know I have had a couple of weeks off, but I haven't actually been away for that long. However, I did want to address that first and foremost because I am currently feeling a little like I'm creating content for the sake of creating content. So I've reflected on this and I'll go through this as part of my podcast topic today. But essentially, I've decided that I only want to create content that I want to create. So I'm not going to force content out. Now, this might be an unusual strategy to take. It does fit with my ethos that if you're in the correct energy and you will attract the correct people to you, the right sales to you, the correct opportunities to you. If you're giving out the correct energy, you will get the things that you want back. So it all feeds into this. So I've decided that I'm not just going to create a podcast for the sake of creating a podcast. I'm going to create and record a podcast when I have something that I want to deliver. So I want to talk about it's important to me and will be beneficial to you. So I'm not sure how often I'm going to be creating podcasts now. It's definitely probably not going to be every single week. So it won't be a weekly thing anymore. I'm going to aim at least once a month anyway, because I do know that I'll definitely have something to say. But essentially, I just want all my content to be led from me and something that I want to talk about. I don't like that feeling that we have to create content just for content's sake. And I've had these discussions with a few of my clients recently about that fact that it can get very overwhelming, that you're expected to create so much content and put them on so many platforms. And I'm all about marketing strategy. I'm all about getting your message out to the right clients, but I'm also about keeping in the correct energy because, as I've literally banged on about for years now, I feel, is energy attracts energy. So if you're putting out something that's forced, that you don't believe in, that you can't be bothered, you're just doing it for content's sake, then you're probably not going to attract anything good back. So therefore, I'm just going to create content that connects with me, that I can deliver to you, that I just think is worthwhile sharing. No more content for content's sake. So you might see also a little bit of a dip in my social media as well, because again, I'm applying this throughout my marketing strategy and I'm deciding when I'm creating content and what content I'm creating rather than letting it basically rule me, because I don't think we need to do that. Now, some people may disagree, and that's absolutely fine. I like the fact that we can have a debate on this. If anyone does have a different view, please do get in touch because I'd love to chat about it. But essentially, I do think that you've got to do what's right for you, what feels right, what gets you in the zone. Like, I want to be excited to deliver content, not another podcast, not another social media post. What do I write? I have no idea. Let's go on an AI platform and just let them create it for me. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with AI. I utilize it across the board, across all businesses. However, even I know that we need to be connected to the content we're putting out in order to get a good response back. That's just a little bit of an update on why you might not have seen a weekly episode of the Limitless Landscapes podcast. There's nothing wrong. I'm just coming at it from a whole different perspective now. And also on that fact, there is the little fact that there is nearly 200 episodes, back episodes that I have recorded, that if you did want to get your fix of the Limitless Landscapes podcast, or you wanted a bit of inspiration and motivation, there is 200 other podcasts you can have a look at. And I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot of topics there that will help you and apply to whatever situation you're in as a landscaper in business. So today I wanted to chat to you because part of the reason this whole change happened is because I had to take some time out from the business. Now, nothing wrong. I decided to go on holiday, and I decided to go away for 5 days with my best friend, and we went to Spain. And I'm telling you, it was one of the best, most restorative, regenerating 5 days I've ever had. Mainly because I utilized it as a complete downtime from the business. So normally, if I was going away, I would, one, I've never been away that long away from my children ever. So that was really difficult initially. I thought I'd be really excited to go, but actually I was terrified of leaving them for that long. Even though they're with their dad, they're quite safe. I just found it really, mum guilt hit hard. And at one point, I didn't even want to go because I was like, I just don't want to leave them for that long. That lasted all of 24 hours. As soon as I basically touched down in Spain, went in the spa, looked at the room. We had a really nice hotel, really nice room, great location. I just decided, wow, okay, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm not going to get the mum guilt and get upset. Plus, the first FaceTime back, they actually didn't care I'd gone. So it was a good thing to happen. That got out of my system very quickly, and I was able to enjoy the holiday. But normally, before I go away, and I go away every year for a girls' holiday, not necessarily on a plane, which also was obviously like, oh my God, I'm not just a few hours up the road. I'm actually a plane ride away. Once I got over that, I normally would have pre-prepared all my social. I would have pre-prepared newsletters, blog, podcasts, and I would have had to have done a couple of weeks and a couple of weeks together so that my VA, the lovely Maya in the Philippines, she could create the graphics and schedule everything. And when it got to it, I had loads of work on my plate, and not just with the businesses, as I'm obviously competing this year as a bodybuilder. And I've gone into a prep now, so I'm preparing. I'm in a 30-week prep at the moment, preparing for that, and it's quite intense. There's a lot of discipline, commitment, and you need to have a lot of drive to do everything because there's a lot of boxes that need to be ticked. And essentially, I just did not have the time, the energy, or the motivation to create content. So I thought to myself, what would happen if I didn't create a podcast for a few weeks? I didn't stay up late creating content for social and the website and stuff. And I spoke to my business coach because obviously that's what coaches are there for, to talk through decisions you want to make before you go ahead and make them. And I spoke to her and she said, Paul, I've done exactly the same thing. I literally stopped recording my podcast when I went away. And then I've decided that I no longer need to do a weekly podcast because it just wasn't serving me. I wasn't enjoying it. The energy wasn't there. Basically, she said to me exactly how I was feeling. So we made a bit of a plan and made it okay. Essentially, made it okay not to create content and to not put anything out. Because initially I was like, I'll put out a post to let everybody know. And she was like, I wouldn't do that. Just go with it and see how you feel. So that's where I'm at. And the break was the catalyst for this. And I wanted to share with you guys what I've taken from having those 5 days off, because essentially a lot of us get into this grind. Now we're like end of Feb. We're going into a busier period. I've had one client who's had 9 inquiries in the last, I think it was a week to 10 days. So it's nearly an inquiry a day for a brand new business, by the way. That's not an established business. That is a brand new, not even started trading business yet. And I was starting to think it's very easy for us to make all the plans at the beginning of the year when we're slightly quieter. And as we go forward, we take no time off. We go into the busier and busier summer periods where everyone just wants everything done now. And then we're just going 110% all of the time. And either it leads to burnout Either it leads to you not preparing for the winter when we know there's going to be a drop off, but you haven't pre-prepared for this. You haven't done the work early enough to be able to manage that drop in inquiries and work. Any of these things will happen, and you haven't had any time out. And I wanted to share that the things that I took from this, and now bearing in mind, I was away for 5 days, and Spain was beautiful, by the way. It was sunny, it was hot. We were on the beach every single day, not sunbathing, but walking around the beach, going into the local town. It was just amazing. I loved it. But the main reasons I enjoyed it so much, and it wasn't normally I go away on holiday and come back and need another week to get over that holiday, is because I actually prioritize the right things. I prioritize sleep. Now, a major thing in my bodybuilding journey, as it sounds, is I have to sleep to allow everything to recover. And essentially, when I'm at home, I don't, because probably like you guys, I'm working at night around the children, around school hours, and I'm also trying to do the gym and everything around that as well. So I end up not quite getting the sleep routine I needed. When I went to Spain, I literally went to bed at 9 o'clock every night and got up at 6/7. I was getting a ridiculous amount of sleep and I felt so freaking good. So if there's one takeaway, if you decide to go away, prioritize sleep over drinking is one thing, because it would have been easy to go out. I don't drink, but the friend who I was with, she does. It could have been easy to go out until 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, drinking, partying. Obviously, I wouldn't be drinking, but I can party without drinking. And essentially, I wouldn't have prioritized my sleep and I wouldn't be feeling as good as I do now. So it's making sleep a priority. And then what I've had to do is bring that sleep routine back with me and try to implement it here, which is the first week or so was fine, absolutely, because my body had got into that routine. But as we get further and further into real life, it's much more difficult. But that is one thing, making sleep a priority, because it does just help everything. It prevents burnout in a small business, allows you to rest and recover. It helps you recover if you're feeling ill, and there's a lot of illness going around again at the moment that I've spoken to a lot of people, but sleep needs to be a priority. I also made a huge priority around my passions and hobbies. Now, again, the bodybuilding, I decided I was in prep. I had to go away and I had to be very mindful about what I was eating, what I was drinking, the steps I was doing, and the training. So I essentially picked a hotel with a really good gym. That was one thing. My friend, like, she lets me book the hotels, so she's not that bothered. She likes the gym, but she could take it or leave it. But I said, this is an important thing for me. This year is important that I prioritize this particular hobby. Ended up actually going to the gym every single day of the holiday, which normally people go away and they say, oh, I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to do anything that's restorative, regenerative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stay out partying, drink too much, eat crap, and then wonder why you come back feeling like utter shit and you're worse off than before you went. So I prioritized that and I absolutely freaking loved it. And I basically scheduled it around the sun. So when we planned every day and we planned to spend as much time out in the sun as possible, that was another priority for me, to spend time in sunlight, because vitamin D is so good for mental health, for your immunity. It's good for you if obviously you have to take precaution, but sunlight is good for you, vitamin D particularly. So we want to have some time in the sun. We also want to, if it's raining, we need to prepare that. What are we going to do? We're going to go to the spa. Are we going to go shopping? What are we going to do if it rains? So I mapped out my gym around the weather so I can make the most of the weather, make the most of the time there. So it worked really well. But if you're indulging in your passions and hobbies, and they're healthy ones, not drinking like a fish, which can sometimes become a passion and a hobby if you're stressed. And by the way, I'm not against drinking. I just know that is not going to help you feel your best self when you get back to business, because this is all about taking a break from your business in order to come back better and to run your business better and to be able to handle the stress of it better. The other thing that I did prioritize as well was spending time with people. And I've done this as we've come back. So it's really important, we're social beings, to spend time with people, but spend time with the right people. Now, I went away with my best friend, and it was brilliant. We get on really well. We're complete polar opposites, but it works. And yeah, just enjoyed spending some chill time. She's a massive bookworm, so am I. So we could spend time reading, sitting at outdoor restaurants, drinking coffee, just chilling. And she went off and did her thing, and I did my thing. And then we met up again. It's about spending time with the right people. Now, when I've come back from holiday, something that we have implemented in our house as well is to turn our phones off between 6 and 7. Now, the reason I wanted to do this is because what we find, and what I've found particularly, is I will scroll or I will look at emails, and all it takes is for some customer to drop an email into your email box at 7 o'clock at night that will piss you off. And then you're in a bad mood for the rest of the evening. You're stressing out how to sort it out before the morning. It's not worth it. So we've implemented switching off of phones, me and Mike, so that we can be more present with the kids, with ourselves, with each other. And I think that's really important, because it's a way that you're going to preserve your mental health and well-being. So if you're not doing things like that, if you're not making time to spend time with the right people as well, it's not going to help keep you at your tip-top condition for business as we go into the busy period. I didn't prepare anything in advance, which I normally would when I go away. And this time I didn't. Like I said, I just let it all go. And actually that was quite freeing. So I found that really interesting for me, that I was able to just let it all go. And you know what? Nothing bad happened. The businesses were still here. The kids were safe and well with their dad. And everything was fine. It was as if I hadn't left. When I got back, it was all the same. There was all the same stuff to deal with. Nothing bad had happened. So I want to remind you that should you wish to take a proper holiday, turn your phone off, or even just turn your phone off in the evening, nothing bad is going to happen to your business just because you don't respond to someone immediately. I had a few inquiries while I was away, and I did not respond to them while I was on holiday. I responded to them when I got back and said, apologies for the delay. I've been away on a break. I've just got back to the desk. How can I help? And no one really cared. So I just want to remind you of that if you do decide to take a break, and a proper break, not going on holiday and continuing to work type of break, a proper break from your business, nothing bad will happen. Trust me, it won't. I think you need to look after your mental health and well-being in order to run your business better. And I think scheduling some proper downtime is important, whether that's a holiday or whether that's just a break out of the business doing something that you love, or whether that's just saying, okay, Fridays, I'm going to finish early. Whether that's I'm going to turn my phone off all weekend and not deal with anything to do with the business until Monday morning. Whatever that looks like to you, you need to put some of these things into place now, because we are going into the busy period. We are going into spring and summer. There's lots of events available for you to attend in the industry. There's lots of shows and stuff going to be coming up. There's lots of opportunities. There'll be lots of inquiries. There'll be lots of staff issues and business issues and growing your business pains that you're going to have to deal with. And if you are feeling not at your best self now, if you are feeling like you need a break but you're not taking one, if you're not indulging in healthy habits, positive mindset, if you're not looking after your health, your mental health and your well-being, you're going to be in a pretty poor position when we hit the busy periods. So I just wanted to remind you of this, because it is just important to have some time to yourself to keep you mentally well as physically well. So I think what I'm trying to get across to you guys is the downtime I took has not negatively impacted my business. However, it has positively impacted me as a person. And I think I'm urging you to take some time daily to do something you love. That could be anything, as long as it's a healthy thing you love, not an unhealthy new habit, but a healthy habit. Maybe you just want to take some time sitting in silence, enjoying a morning coffee, Maybe you want to read a book, maybe it's walking, maybe it's spending some time in sunlight, because we spend too much time under artificial lighting. That's a fact. And we don't spend enough time outside in nature. Now, that is another thing that I truly think will help mental health and being, just spending more time outside in nature, enjoying it, not just working in it, because I understand as landscapes, we're always in it, but actually enjoying it, actually enjoying spending some time outside, going to the gym, just some thinking time, maybe you like journaling, writing, whatever lights you up, whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you feel positive. You need to spend some time doing that. You need to do that to look after yourself and to make yourself a better business owner. I think it's important also to continue to be mindful of your goals at this point in time and see how close you are or how far away you might be. Either there's no right or wrong, and reflect on what steps you could put into place to continue your quest to hit those goals by the end of the year or your year end, whatever it may be to you. But it's always good to check in, particularly when you're feeling at your best. So for me, coming back from that break, implementing some other good habits in my life, such as sleep routine, means that I can actually actively, excitedly get on with my actions going towards my goals. It also helped. I had a session about setting up objectives and then actions to get to those objectives before I went away. So myself and Mike went through objective planning and OKRs and how we're going to get to the big goals that we want to get to, as well as achieving the smaller goals on the way. So if you're interested in any of that, let me know, hit me up, give me a message. I can talk about that on my next podcast if it's of interest to you. If you need some help with your landscaping business, I am quite zen at the moment and have a couple of spaces to take on with the right clients. I want to work with people that want to do the work as well, because there's no point in working with me if you're not prepared to take on the advice, to move forward yourselves in between meeting with me. So that's one thing I want to get out there. But essentially, I do have a few spaces available to the right people. If you want to book in a discovery call, jump on my contact page over at thelandscaperscoach.co.uk/contact, and you can fill in the form. We can have a quick discovery call to see how we would fit together. So yeah, get in touch if you need any help. Book that break or take a break, take a day off, go to a spa if you like. That sounds nice. I might do that. But basically have some me time. Look after yourself, guys, because you only have one body, one brain. Look after it and it will do you well going forward. That's my positive motivation for today. And I will see you on the next episode of the Limitless Landscapes podcast. Bye, guys.